Hold on a second, guys. I'm trying to fix something. A lot of things. That's too loud. There we go. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna check to make sure it's streaming right now on the right things, because I don't know if it's working. Ah! I haven't used Restream in a while. Okay. Wait. Okay, I think it says it's working. Before I continue. Also, why is it playing the same song over and over? Don't do that. Okay, 1 second, guys. Just checking to make sure everything's fair. Hello, welcome, John. Hope you're having a great day. Just give me a moment. Looks like it's working. I'm gonna pull up the chat on the screen. Since we're at the beginning part, we're not starting the story reading yet, which we'll turn off chat for that. Where is chat? Sorry, this is the first time I've done this in a while, and so when my computer broke down, I lost everything. For those who have never been here before, hi. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're enjoying. We're gonna be reading Prunella today. Where? Cancel. Where is it? A browser? It's a browser, isn't it? And I totally forgot. Yes, it is. There's chat. There we go. Wow, this is quite unfortunate that I like to play in light mode, isn't it? Filters? Can I add a background to this? Effect filter? You know what I could do? I think I actually have... I have a box. I still have a box. I need to fix the box, but I have a box. It's too big, but it's a box. Oh, shit. Hello, Sora. Welcome, welcome. Hello, John. I put this behind this. Yes, hello, hello. I guess when it showed me your YouTube username for some reason, John. So sorry about that. Because I'm using I was looking at the restream stuff. All right. I've been doing pretty good. You know, I'm existing. Things happened this morning. I woke up way too early because my mother was like, "Hey, you left medicine downstairs because you didn't take your medicine." Cha 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 cha. And I went, "Oh, whoops." So I did take my medicine last night like I was supposed to. But I still got coffee and stuff, so we're fine. Or not coffee, I got tea. Then I realized, oh, I don't have bread to make sandwiches. So I made one of my English muffin breakfast sandwich because I did have an English muffin. And so, because I was gonna make like a tea sandwich, you know, tea time stuff. And then I made what I call my poor person pizza, which is I get flour tortillas, put jarred tomato sauce on top of it, and put cheese on top, and put it in the toaster until it toasts properly. So my brunch is basically lunch, and I have a matcha latte. So hello. And I would show pictures of it, but when I was microwaving the cheese so it melted and connected the egg together, the egg was so slippery that it slipped off. So I have half of a sandwich that has ham and cheese on it, and the other half of the sandwich that was just egg. That's fine. I hope you have a good one, Sora. I'll see you around. You guys have fun. We'll be here for a bit because I gotta make the PowerPoint presentation that I was supposed to do last night, but totally forgot. Daddy-daddy-da-da-do. But we're gonna be reading Prunella today. I gotta print that out actually before I forget. You're not gonna see this, right? No. Good. Good. Just want to make sure you didn't see this. I know someone's got... No, not the plant. Not the plant, Prunella. Prunella. fairy tale. One of my favorite fairy tales, originally called Molina. But Andrew Lang added it to the Grey Fairy book and called it Prunella, so... because Molina has to do with her name meaning plum girl, basically, little plum. I know the Grey Fairy book is available somewhere as on Project Gutenberg. There it is. Can I get the HTML? No, that's the zip. I don't want the zip. Can I get the plain text? Thank you. I like to print. Oh God, they really make this difficult, don't they? Prunella. Prunella's at the very end. All right. What page is this? I wish it told me what page I'm on. Wait, if I save this as a PDF, then I can go into it and then in the PDF, and then, because I need to print it out, because I love reading, but God be damned if you want me reading this out loud. I'm not doing it, reading it on the digital screen. It hurts my eyes. My eyes! My beautiful eyes! They hurt. I'm in so much pain. This is an ebook. Ebook. This is an ebook. This is an ebook. Okay. Starts on 128 and it ends on 130. Okay. Print. Pages. Custom. 128 to 131, just so that way I have it. It doesn't need to be in color. Print it, please. Printer is low on ink again, I swear to God. But I hope everyone's doing well. We shall see. Right now, let's finish this. I got the story writing, so let's finish this PowerPoint that has like that's supposed to be fairy tale. Okay, we're gonna go into the Canva now. Just gonna add a text thing real quick. See, if I was doing this on Word, I'd be like, I'm so good at Word, guys, because I used to do this kind of stuff on Word all the time. No, just this one, right? Thank you. And this one is called Brightwall. Can I get more Brightwall? Thank you. Ooh, that's hard to read. What font is this? Specially Elite? There you go. Oh, shoot. Nope, I don't want the whole thing to be yellow. I only wanted one part to be yellow, but okay. If that's what you want. Layers and why won't you send it to the front, please? Fine, show layers. Can you imagine how cool this would have looked if I had done this before I started the stream? Ah, so professional, so cute. Ah! Who would believe I was so talented? I am not talented though, so that's not what I want. Can I undo that? Thank you. What I meant to do is this, and then this, and then this, and then this. What color pink is that? Can I copy that color? There it is. Also, what font color is this? Okay. And then I am such a professional, guys. So profesh. I don't even know if this is the layout I want for this, but oh well. We're copying it. The golden root, a motif of antagonists, the wolf, variants. We'll look over the Wikipedia page after I'm done, because actually there's not that much English information. Now, if I took my time, I would have actually also looked up the, and thank you for complimenting. I know but that's because we haven't technically started yet. It's fine. we'll just keep the stream starting soon until I finish this PowerPoint, and then we will remove the stream starting soon. So that way people can be like, oh, that's when the stream starting soon button ends. Therefore, this is when the thing actually begins, instead of Jay panicking because they forgot to do all the prep work before they started the stream. Ha! It's a nice, easy bookmark, you know? Easy to read, easy to find. Because it's an Italian tale, and it's technically a variant on Rapunzel a little bit. Depending on who you ask, it's girl stuck in tower, you know? Of the, like when you look at, so I don't know if you guys know what R and Thompson is, but R and Thompson Uther is like an index that they use to put folk tales in certain categories that they kind of fit in. So it's basically like, the fairy tale trope index, the official one, in which they go, you know, a lot of this story has a lot of themes of a girl stuck in a tower, or has a thing about a girl who gets punished by their stepmother, and gets a magic assistance from a fairy or something like that. And they try to help to use that, so not all of them are going to be the same and such. And they keep adding to that index. Like for instance, it's still really highly critiqued because of the fact that it's based off of, a lot of the tropes used are based off of like European folktales, because we have more access to European folktales versus to other ones, because we did this to ourselves. And so it's kind of a little bit arbitrary. I don't generally recommend it, but you know, sometimes if you want to make something easy for people to get in a very quick second, when you're trying to like, what's the basic concept of the story? Is it the boy steals ogre's treasure, like Jack and the Beanstalk and the Folktale 13? That's one label. You got the Smith and the Devil, the Animal Bride, a very common one, in which basically the bride gets turned into an animal, and then the young man has to go break her curse by doing a series of tasks until the woman is no longer an animal. There's also Grateful Animals, where like, which a lot of people put the white snake in there because she helps the person after the person saves her, all that other stuff. So a lot of these things are just like basically them trying to summarize things, but the problem is when you generalize things, you take out a lot of the nuances. But we live through life. So what is There you go. I'm kind of glad that there was a tie because the coin gods landed in my favor, because I love Prunella. I've loved it since I was in middle school. It's kind of one of my faves, you know, because it's got the classic romance that you expect in a fairy tale, but it's also like, ooh, the romantic partner isn't just a prince, it's the witch's son. Doo-doo-doo. Ooh. So I'm kind of excited for this. So I can't wait. Did I spell plum right? I put a B that doesn't need to be in there, my bad. I was like, something about this isn't correct, and I can't put my finger on it. Okay. There's a way to turn this into a PowerPoint presentation, isn't there? I know that they have this as a thing. I know this is a feature on present. Present full screen. Present. Okay. Hey! Oh, let's go. I figured it out. I know how to use Canva. I swear. I'm not teaching someone how to use Canva not knowing how to use it. This is fine. Everything is fine. Nice, Sue. Now I need to figure out why my screen looks weird. Hold up. Oh, I know why the screen looks weird. I have filters on it so that way you guys can't see all the tabs that are open when I normally have it opened a certain way, but I can fix that. Cancel. Prop filters. And turn that off for now. There you go. We're gonna turn off starting soon. Wait, why do I have 2 starting soons? I'm not going to question this. I'm just gonna remove one and take off the other. So hello, welcome to Breakfast in Bed, even though it's 12:23 with Jay. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, and yes, once again, hello. It took me a hot second. I hope you guys are enjoying your breakfast in bed. Oh wait. I forgot to grab the paper. I forgot to grab the paper, guys. Oh, fuck. I got it. I got the story. I got it. Okay. We're going to be doing a couple things today before we start, which is Jay is going to finish eating her breakfast for one thing. And also, before we could start our story time. Also, hello to all the people who are both on Twitch and YouTube, or for those who are just on YouTube. This is the one series that we will be doing on both channels. Because normally I do video games on Twitch and writing stuff on Twitter. I'm eating my lunch in bed. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. I mean, I have both an egg sandwich and pizza. My 4-person's pizza. So, you know, we're doing great. Why not both? So, we'll be reading Prunella today. And we'll be discussing a little bit more of that now. I hope everyone's having a good day. We're going to be continuing, we're going to be first be starting off with a little bit of chatting, a little bit of eating, a little bit of drinking. Our thing, if you were here during my stream starting soon section, you got to see me quickly make this PowerPoint because I totally forgot to make it. A sandwich of salami, ham, processed cheese, and Havarti. Ooh, that sounds so good. I have a homemade English, well, the English muffin isn't homemade. I made a breakfast sandwich with egg, cheese, and ham, like you would get at McDonald's. And that part's homemade. The muffin is not. I do not have the skill to make an English muffin. Quote unquote, which is similar to a crumpet, but is not a crumpet. Don't at me, Brits, please. Thank you. I love you, UK. Yee. Oh, I forgot to, hold on. One more thing before we continue. Since we're in the chatting mode and I need to eat as well, I'm just gonna ping everyone to let them know I'm finally streaming. Oh, I forgot to do that. This is fine. Everything is fine. Oh. Announcements? Oh, thank God. My dino still works. At SO Omega. Hey guys, we streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. Doing a quickie little read of Prunella. Come by if you wanna. There we go. I fixed it. I fix. to be able to, but Dino got hacked recently, like last month, and I removed its permissions during that time. I don't know if I'm going back to Dino, probably will, but I just want to make sure that, you know, I didn't want people to be like, oh, click the link that the Dinobot gave me, and now I'm hacked. Ha! Because that's what I wanted. Oh. Okay. I need to add the red circle. We be live reading on YouTube and Twitch now, so come by. And then give them the YouTube and Twitch. I also used to have a bot that used to post all my Twitter posts as well, so that, you know, I didn't have to, as soon as I made a Twitter post, it'd show up, and you guys would be like, oh, no way! A Twitter post? Howdy there. Wow, so impressive. But that didn't happen. Did you guys see me doing all that? I hope not. Oh, anyway, pointers. Hello. Because I know I have a tendency, my main social media is Twitter, and I know one day Twitter will die in a burning tornado, but the YouTube community hasn't decided, or the VTuber community hasn't decided where they're moving to. And the platform they thought, and the platform that they thought people were going to died. So I know a lot of people are moving to Blue Sky. I do have a Blue Sky account now. But I'm just like, I'm not gonna post anything on it until like people actually move to Blue Sky, because due to Blue Sky's limited invites to the platform, the problem is that there's a lot of VTubers who can't get on that platform even if they wanted to. So, to say the least, that it's a little bit difficult, it would be an understatement. Is it public now? Well, that's good. I was glad to hear. I'm glad that they finally fixed everything with their problems. So, yeah. Oh. Now, normally the type of cheese I like to put in my sandwich, I need to add something like DMs, potentially. I don't know if it would be a good idea. The problem with DMs is that if they add DMs, if they decide to go on like app stores like Google, and I know for sure Apple requires you that when you make an app on their app store, you have to make sure there's a block feature. And so, you know, especially if there's something like DMs in it, and I don't know if they do decide to go to those app stores and stuff to download Blue Sky, if they will want to do that just because. Is it breakfast in bed with my favorite mimic? No. Please, Muffin. I'm eating an English muffin, but not a cuddly muffin. I made myself an egg, ham, and cheese sandwich with an English muffin. It's gonna make like a full tea service with like cucumber sandwiches and a couple other things. And then I realized that there is no gosh dang white bread in my house right now. Normally I tell my mom to keep some sort of like potato or white bread in case I feel like, you know, having tea time. I prefer white bread for those kinds of things. So potato bread is just basically white bread, but a little bit fluffier. So not the end of the world. What? We're out. To be fair, today is Friday, and we're normally out of groceries by then. Welcome, welcome, Bob. I'm currently eating my sandwich, and then we will slowly start on this PowerPoint presentation that I made that is definitely not messed up in any way, shape, or form. I definitely didn't do before the stream started. No, no, no. That would be ridiculous. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Sandwich has been eliminated. By the way, for those who don't know, the other story that was going to be chosen but did not get chosen, oh shoot, was, oh wait, this is in the same window. I don't want that. Give me a second. I'll figure it out. I'll find it. I know there's someone in here that it's in my original book. But I know I found it from a list of things, and I'm like, you know that, oh yeah, it was called Never Wash. It's from Russia. And so, it's called Never Wash from Russia, and that's what you guys didn't get to have. Oh, poor you. You poor unfortunate souls. That's not what you didn't get that. Oh my goodness. But as I was saying before, Prunella's been my favorite story since I was in early high school or late middle school. But first, before we begin, because Prunella is an Italian fairy tale, I figured we'd pick a word of the day that is Italian. Italiana, no way. Today's English word of the day that comes from Italy is innamorata, a woman with whom is in love or has intimate relations. Some would say that Prunella, because her only trait is that she stole plums, is a type of innamorata to the witch's son. Ooh. And here we have the next bit. Let's talk a little about Prunella. Originally, it was called Presemolina. Originally called this in the Italian tale until Andrew Lang in the 1900s added it to his fairy tale book series. Because Presemolina means like a cute girl who steals plums, and so they're like, you know what? Instead of Presemolina, we do Prunella. Because, you know, plums and prunes are the same. And we like to make all girl names that are weird and in Ella. Ella, 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 eight, 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 eight. I believe they said that the Gray Book was published in like 1901, 1902. It was during like a little bit after the heyday of like the Grimm's fairy tales came out, and then they're like, oh my god, let's make more fairy tales, collecting all these fairy tales from other places. Andrew Lang also added a lot of fairy tales from the Middle East, and I hate to I think it was Morocco, but he just said African tale, which, you know, it's the 1900s. Africa is a country now, not a continent. Along with a couple other things, I do have a problem with some of his choices of translating them into English. I generally prefer not to use Andrew Lang's stuff just because everyone in the 1900s and 1800s is a little bit problematic, you know? They're still problematic today, but man, was that problematic stuff really weird in the 1900s. Hey! So I generally try not to use Andrew Lang stuff, but it is public domain, and the thing is like, because it's an Italian tale, unless I find like the Italian story and read it in Italian or translate it live, which I would die horribly because my Italian is like, okay, but it's not that good. Like, I could, because I know a lot of Spanish, I can see a lot of Italian, and I know like the sound rules for Italian that I can kind of piece together, but there are some words that are only in Spanish and not in Italian. Wow, who would have thought? No way. No. So we're gonna be reading the Andrew Lang version. Like, when we read Beauty and the Beast, I read like a 1800s translation of the Beauty and Beast tale that was written in like the 1780s. It might have been the 50s, but I think it was the 80s. Don't quote me on that. I'm not looking at it right now. And I will say, like, the great thing about reading the 1800s one of the English translation is that the footnotes are extremely sassy to death. You know, there's just no end to these footnotes being extremely sassy and being like, well, you know, the author originally said this, but I think a better translation would have been this, and so I put this instead, and this is why. And oh, you know, those are weird French and their weird things. Did you know in weird France they do weird things such as the blah 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 blah. So it's very funny to read those as well, and I have read those before. But this one does not have that because it's just supposed to be like a kid's fairy tale. And so we'll be talking about, like I said, it's a witch son and Prunella, who is our innamorata. Ooh, and Prunella is a fairy tale about a girl who one day gets chaptered. I'm gonna chapter my tongue. Gets captured by a witch for stealing her plums, and her finding a way to escape. How is she ever going to escape? Who knows? And so, with that said, I'm going to turn off the music. I was just kind of imbibing in the background, very quietly. And clear my mouth of my poor man's pizza. And begin the story of Prunella in the Grey Fairy book. Prunella. There was once upon a time a woman who had an only daughter. When that child was about 7 years old, she used to pass every day on her way to school an orchard where there was a wild plum tree with delicious ripe plums hanging from the branches. Each morning, the child would pick one. Oh wait, I was supposed to hold up before we continue. Hold up, I forgot. Chat, go away. Chat, we're reading. Chat, go away. And we're gonna go back to the front. Okay. I gotta get better at this. I'm working on it. I'm trying. Prunella. There was once upon a time a woman who had an only daughter, and when the child was about 7 years old, she used to pass every day on her way to school an orchard where there was a wild plum tree with delicious ripe plums hanging from the branches. Each morning, the child would pick one and put it in her pocket to eat at school. For this reason, she was called Prunella. Now, the orchard belonged to a witch. One day, the witch noticed the child gathering a plum, and as she passed along the road, Prunella did it quite innocently, not knowing that she was doing wrong in taking the fruit that hung close to the roadside. But the witch was furious, and next day hid herself behind the hedge. And when Prunella came past and put her hand to pluck the fruit, she jumped out and squeezed her by the arm.
"Ah, you little thief!" she exclaimed. "I have caught you at last. Now you will have to pay for your misdeeds."
The poor child, half dead with fright, implored the old woman to forgive her, assuring her that she did not know she had done wrong, promising never to do it again. But the witch had no pity, and she dragged Prunella into her house, where she kept her till the time should come when she could have her revenge. As the years passed, Prunella grew up into a very beautiful girl. Now her beauty and goodness, instead of softening the witch's heart, aroused her hatred and jealousy. One day she called Prunella to her and said,
"Take this basket, go to the well, and bring it back to me filled with water. If you don't, I will kill you."
The girl took the basket, went and let it down into the well again and again, but her work was lost labor, for each time she drew up the basket, the water streamed out of it. At last, in despair, she gave it up, and leaning against the well, she began to cry bitterly, when suddenly she heard a voice at her side saying, "Prunella, why are you crying?" Prunella turned around, and she beheld a handsome youth who looked kindly to her, as if he were sorry for her trouble. "Who are you?" she asked, "and how do you know my name?" "I am the son of the witch," he replied. "My name is Benziabel. I know that she determined that you shall die, but I promise you that she shall not carry out her wicked plan. Will you give me a kiss if I fill your basket?" "No," said Prunella, "I will not give you a kiss, because you are the son of a witch." "Very well," replied the youth sadly. "Give me your basket, and I will fill it for you." And he dipped it into the well, and the water stayed in it. Then the girl returned to the house, carrying the basket filled with water. When the witch saw it, she became white with rage and exclaimed,
"Benzabel must have helped you."
And Prunella looked down and said nothing.
"Well, we'll see who shall win in the end."
The following day, she called the girl to her and said,
"Take this sack of wheat. I am going out for a little. By the time I return, I shall expect you to have made it into bread. If you have not done it, I will kill you."
Having said this, she left the room, closing and locking the door behind her. Poor Prunella did not know what to do. It was impossible for her to grind the wheat, prepare the dough, and bake the bread all in a short time that the witch would be away. At first, she set to work bravely. When she saw how hopeless her task was, she threw herself on her chair and began to weep bitterly. She was aroused from despair by hearing Benziabel's voice at her side saying, "Prunella, Prunella, do not weep like that. If you give me a kiss, I will make bread and you will be saved." "I will not kiss you, the son of a witch," replied Prunella. But Benziabel took the wheat from her, ground it, and made it the dough. And when the witch returned, the bread was already baked in the oven. This is why we don't drink matcha lattes before we start reading. My bad. Turning to the girl with a fury in her voice, she said,
"Benziabel must have been here and helped you with..."
And Prunella looked down and said nothing.
"We shall see who will win in the end,"
said the witch, and her eyes blazed with anger. Next day, she called the girl to her and said,
"Go to my sister who lives across the mountains. She will give you a casket, which you must bring back to me."
This she said knowing that her sister, who was still more cruel and wicked witch than herself, would never allow the girl to return, but would imprison her and starve her to death. But Prunella did not suspect anything, and set out quite cheerfully. On the way, she met Benziabel. "Where are you going, Prunella?" he asked. "I am going to the sister of my mistress, from whom I am to fetch a casket." "Oh, poor, poor girl," said Benziabel. You are being sent straight to your death. Give me a kiss and I will save you. But Prunella answered as before, I will not kiss the son of a witch. Nevertheless, I will save your life, for I love you better than myself. Take this flagon of oil, this loaf of bread, this piece of rope, and this broom. When you reach the witch's house, oil the hinges on the door with the contents of the flagon. Throw the loaf of bread to the great fierce mastiff who will come to meet you. When you have passed the dog, you will see in the courtyard a miserable woman trying in vain to let down a bucket into the well with her plaited hair. You must give her the rope in the kitchen. In the kitchen, you will find a still more miserable woman trying to clean the hearth with her tongue. To her you must give the broom. You will see the casket on top of a cupboard. Take it as quickly as you can and leave the house without a moment's delay. If you do all this exactly as I have told you, you will not be killed. So Prunella, having listened carefully to his instructions, did just what he had told her. She reached the house, oiled the hinges on the door, threw the loaf to the dog, gave the poor woman at the well a rope, and the woman in the kitchen the broom, caught the casket from the top of the cupboard, and fled out of the house. But the witch heard her as she ran away, rushing to the window, calling out the woman in the kitchen, Kill that thief, I tell you! But the woman replied, I will not, for she has given me a broom, whereas you forced me to clean the hearth with my tongue. So Prunella, having listened carefully to his instructions... Then the witch called out in fury to the woman at the well, Take the girl, I tell you! Fling her into the water and drown her! But the woman answered, No, I will not drown her, for she has given me this rope, whereas you forced me to use my hair to let down the bucket to draw water. Then the witch shouted to the dog to seize the girl and hold fast, but the dog answered, No, I will not seize her, for she gave me a loaf of bread, whereas you let me starve with hunger. The witch was so angry that she nearly choked, and she called out, Door, bang upon her and keep her a prisoner. But the door answered, I won't, for she has oiled my hinges, so that they may move quite easily, whereas you left them all rough and rusty. And so Prunella escaped, and with the casket under her arm, reached the house of her mistress, who, as you may believe, was angry as she was surprised to see the girl before her, looking for more beautiful than ever. Her eyes flashed as, in furious tones, she asked her, Did you meet BnB OP? But Prunella looked down and said nothing. We shall see, said the witch, who will win in the end. Listen, there are 3 cocks in the hen house. One is yellow, one is black, and the third is white. If one of them crows during the night, you must tell me which one it is. Woe to you if you make a mistake. I will gobble you up in one mouthful. Now, BnB OP was in the room next to the one where Prunella slept. At midnight, she awoke hearing the cock crow. Which one was that? Shouted the witch. Then, trembling, Prunella knocked on the door and whispered, BnB OP, tell me which cock crowed. Will you give me a kiss if I tell you? He whispered through the wall. But she still answered no. And then he whispered back to her, Nevertheless, I will tell you. It was the yellow cock that crowed. The queen, who had noticed the delay in Prunella's answer, approached the door, calling angrily, Answer at once, or I will kill you! So Prunella answered, It was the yellow cock that crowed. And the witch stamped her foot and gnashed her teeth. Soon after the cock crowed, Tell me which one it is now! And the witch, and promptly by BnB OP, Prunella answered, That is the black cock. A few minutes after the crowing was heard again, and the voice of the witch demanded, Which one was that? And again Prunella implored BnB OP to help her. But this time he hesitated, for he had hoped Prunella might forget that he was the witch's son and promised to give him a kiss. And as he hesitated, he heard an agonized cry from the girl, BnB OP, save me! The witch is coming. She is close to me. I can hear the gnashing of her teeth. With a bound, BnB OP opened the door. Oh, with a bound. No comma, even though there should be a comma. BnB OP opened the door and flung himself against the witch. He pulled her back with such force that she stumbled, falling headlong, dropping down at the foot of the stairs. Then at last, Prunella was touched by Beelzebub's goodness and kindness to her, and she became his wife, and they lived happily ever after. The end of the Grave Fairy book, because that was actually the last story in the book. So what did you guys think? You guys enjoy that, or ring with the chat back? Hi, chat. What did you guys think? Was it fun? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the fact that even though she said no in the story, he still helped her out? Yeah, kind of, basically. I think the moral of the story is more don't steal. If you don't know where the tree comes from, don't steal fruit that's just randomly in the wild, because it might be someone else's fruit and you might have to face the consequences of that. I think it's really great that despite everything, Beelzebub still helps her. He wants a kiss because he's like, she's so pretty. Oh my god. But he still helps her without getting a kiss, which, you know, I can't say this is the same for a lot of fairy tale princes. We gotta love the Italians for their fairy tales. Well, no, it's not. It's definitely not getting married. It's definitely more of a you will die if, because I think the story is you will get kidnapped if you steal someone's fruit, and that you don't know whose it is, and there will be consequences, and the consequences might not be what you're in well over your head over to be able to repay those, because if there wasn't someone helping her, which in this case was the witch's son, from being kidnapped, she might have died all those times that she did all those quests, you know, like helping her with grinding wheat and making flour before the witch got back, and going to the sister's house. Those are just kind of trials for her to kind of face, you know, to make the story more interesting too. You know, stories are supposed to have a little bit of funsy with it. I just like the fact that the story actually, like, despite her saying, no, I won't kiss you, and then when finally, I mean, I do think Prunella's a little stubborn here, being like, no, I don't, you saved me all these times that I died, I still won't kiss you, which, you know, she shouldn't be forced to kiss him, but only kisses him after she kills the witch. I guess, you know what, if I were in a situation in which I was a slave to someone, and the son was like, if you kiss me, I will help you, I don't think I would do that, probably. Not that I, you know what, slave is a bad servant, worker, anything like that, not slave. Slave is too harsh, but she was probably a slave in the story, but not slave, but servant. If I was a servant to someone who had forced me to work in their house, and then the boss's son, no, I know she was a slave, but I'm saying I don't want to use the word slave myself, just because even though technically she is a slave to this witch, I don't think it's appropriate to say that. But yeah, no, if I were a servant or working or dealing with really terrible conditions at my workplace, and the boss's son came over and was like, if you kiss me, I'll help you with my really annoying mother. And it's like, that doesn't solve the problem though. Your mother still exists and she's still hurting me. So I will tell you this much, Bob. Not every fairy tale has a moral to it. Sometimes they're just supposed to be entertaining. Some of them are based off of historical things that happened in other things. For instance, oh man, which one is it? There's a fairy tale that's based off of Saint Dimphna's story, which, if I can remember which one that is, I will tell you. The king who wished to marry his daughter. I didn't realize that there was, oh, also called cat skin. That's what and donkey skin. So in like cat skin and donkey skin, which are two similar stories that are a little bit different, but you know, they have their own little quirks. We have found out that if you ever have read Saint Dipna's story, which is about a girl in Ireland area-ish, who escapes her father, who after his mother died, was extremely depressed, and his servants kept telling him he should get married, and he's like, fine, I'll get married, but I'll only marry someone who's as beautiful as his wife. And then his daughter becomes his wife, and he decides he's going to marry his daughter, and the daughter runs away. Saint Dipna moved to the Netherlands and started a mental health hospital, among other things. And then eventually her father found her, and then she died tragically and stuff like that. So some of the fairy tales are based off of actual events that have happened, but maybe were exaggerated because we don't know the exact details, because, you know, writing everything down's hard. So I think it's important that we take into consideration that sometimes these stories are just people telling stories about things that they heard, and it kind of just goes through the loop of like, so I heard from my grandma that this from my grandma's cousin's sister's brother's best friend's nephew about this princess that like totally like was kidnapped in a tower, and about this prince who like saved this princess who was kidnapped in a tower by an evil witch because her parents wouldn't pay kept eating the witch's vegetables, you know? You know, it's like after a while it just slowly gets more and more gossip train kind of thing, in which you're like, oh, I guess we're playing telephone now with which parts of the story are true and which are not. But you can generally find out a little bit which stories are kind of based on what. It might not have been in the 1800s. When was Saint Dipna again? Because the thing is, I used Saint Dipna in a story, and now it's driving me nuts that I can't remember what time period she was. She might have been the 1400s. Dipna. Saint. Seventh century. I can't read. This is why I always have to double check my facts. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, Saint Dipna went through that, and now then when they were collecting fairy tales and stuff, there's like, wow, you know, this fairy tale sounds a lot like the story of Saint Dipna, who ran away from Ireland and then went to the Netherlands to help people because she didn't want to get married to her dad. But in the story, they make it a happily ever after. In the fairy tale, they make it a happily ever after, where she manages to escape and gets married to someone. And in the original story, she kind of just dies. Her dad finds her and kills her. So, you know, sometimes people just want a happy ending to a story. And that's the thing with a lot of folktales, is that you can't tell which folktales are just stories that are supposed to have a moral of don't talk to strangers and listen to their instructions, and always double check to make sure, which is, I'm talking about Little Red Riding Hood for that one. Or maybe it's just a story about a really weird couple getting together and how they got together. Blah. At the end of the day, that's just how the story goes. I am doing great today, Mitchell. We just finished reading Prunella. When the stream is out, I will try to make sure that there are chapters, so you will be able to see when Prunella starts and when Prunella ends. We're currently in the post commentary, and I'm eating my poor man's pizza, which is a tortilla with tomato sauce and cheese on it. So I think it's important to remember sometimes man, Bob, you're right. Maybe the story is this: if you steal someone's plums, you can just murder them and marry their son, and they'll be your plums. I mean, you know, that was the reward for killing the witch, which the witch in the story is stereotypically an evil character, so... Because it even, like this version of the story, which, like I said, is not the same as the Italian version, and I wasn't gonna go and try to translate the Italian and make it into English and all this other stuff, because that would have taken me... That would have turned this stream that was supposed to be a very lighthearted stream into a month project. Would have made it so... made it quite clear that Prunella was very innocent and didn't know that what she was doing was wrong, and she was only 7 years old when she was kidnapped. And then some time later, when she grew up, she met BnB. So, and I say grew up in the loosest of terms. I am being summoned. Give me a moment. I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. My grandmother was asking me what I was doing, and I'm like, I'm in a call right now. Can we talk about this after I'm done? And she said yes. So, I think I'm gonna have to say everything again later, but I'm fine. So, yeah. So I'm gonna read a couple of things off the Wikipedia, and I'll see if I can find the original sources for it as well, about something more stuff about Prunella. There isn't a lot of information about Prunella in English. Not a very common fairy tale that a lot of people like. So here's a couple of things that have been noted that I'm seeing in the analysis of the story here on the Wikipedia page. It states here that a lot of Italian scholars generally classify Presemolina as a type of story as the Maiden in the Tower story, even though they don't really talk about her being a maiden in towers, but she does get stuck and she can't leave. So, and she has to do certain tasks in order to do it. However, the most interesting thing, I think, for a lot of talking about this is that a lot of people are saying that the reason it's the son of the witch, is based off of story types that are basically similar to the animal as a bridegroom, which, the animal of a bridegroom, generally those stories are like Beauty and the Beast, Cupid and Psyche, which if you think about it, for Cupid and Psyche, it's kind of, you can kind of see it, because in the story of Cupid and Psyche, the reason Psyche gets punished by Aphrodite is because she's so pretty that she gets cursed to not fall in love. And so Eros, who had fallen in love with her on accident, due to because she wanted her to marry the ugliest person in the world, because Aphrodite's petty like that. The gods are always petty in Greek mythology. Accidentally got shot with an arrow, and then he was like, oh shoot, my mom's gonna find out. And so he he says that he pretends that Psyche is, that he pretends to be like an ugly monster that Psyche can't see. And then as Psyche gets to know him better, he eventually she finds out that she moves in, they get married and all this stuff. And she finds out over time that she married Eros, and then her finding out she has to do all these trials, which she does have to do trials in this one, though it's kind of a little bit weird, because I don't know if it's like if it's Andrew Lang shortening the fairy tale so it's easier to read, because a lot of fairy tales, when you read them, especially like Contes de Fées, they're like 15, 20 pages long, and this fairy tale is only 3 pages long. So he probably took out a lot of the artistic language to simplify it to be a story that could be read relatively quickly and easily. And I do believe Andrew Lang was trying to make his fairy tale books appeal to children and rich young nobles. So I do think he probably took out a lot of details from the original Italian version, would be my guess. Especially since there are a bunch of different Italian variants of this tale specifically. According to Wikipedia, in Genova, which then is the northern Italian tale called Presamolina, a couple lived next to an ogress, and the wife sees from her balcony some succulent parsley herbs, presamolo, and she wants to eat, and she creeps up. It's basically Rapunzel, and Presamolina means the parsley child. So it's interesting to say the least. Some of these are like La Bella Presamolina. In this, they've got some interesting things where, like, the North Italian one is definitely basically just Rapunzel with Italian things in it. But, like, for instance, the one from Padova, which is over by the Venetian area, La Bella Presamolina, which is the beautiful Presamolina, her name is just Presamolina, and she lives next to the witch who has a son named Beniamino, next to a human widow and her daughter, which this sounds a lot more like the story that Prunella is talking about. And the girl who is pregnant wants to eat parsley from the witch's garden and steals some until the witch discovers her and makes the girl deliver a child and after they were born. The baby girl is born and named Presamolina. Despite the mother trying to save the daughter, it doesn't work. The witch imposes hard task on the mother, and eventually the girl marries the Bianaminova. And then one of the Italian scholars remarked that the central act in the heroine helped the sorcerer's son also occurred in Basil's The Golden Root, which was a story that was, goodness gracious, The Golden Root. Tell me, fairy tale. Which one is that one? It's another Italian fairy tale. It's also called The Golden Trunk. Yeah, I know this. Which also focuses on a girl who has 3 sisters, and she has a competition with those sisters to help her. In Verona specifically, their version of the tale, because I'm trying to summarize to the best of my ability these summaries of the stories. So if you want to read more, I would recommend going to the Wikipedia page to read like a little bit more of the details. Plus they do have, like, at the Wayback Machine, external links for it, and you can find, and it is based, there is a lot of fairy tales, especially in Europe, kind of are reflections of each other in some ways, but it's like a distorted reflection. But in the Verona one, the story is like there's a pregnant woman who lives next to an old ortolana, which, what is an ortolana? I know what a pasta del ortolana is, but that doesn't tell me what an ortolana is. Oh, okay. Lives next to a nun and steals parsley from her garden, and then Ortolana discovers her and promises to give her child to the nun, and then over time, whenever she goes to school, she passes by Ortolana's house and eats the prunes. So the mother was already supposed to give the child to the quote-unquote witch, but she didn't give the witch it until Ortolana's son, Belgulio, offers to help her and takes out his magic wand to fulfill magic task for magically to command magic to fulfill tasks for her. I'm trying to read. I'm sorry. My brain is like, this word. Your brain is going too fast. I'm gonna make you say words that have already passed, even though that is not the correct order that they're in. The one that's in Chianti, which is over by the let's see, what big city is over by Pisa, which is over by Pisa. In Chianti's version, it's fairies instead of a witch. And there's a whole bunch of things with like butterflies, and it's still got like the mother promises the daughter to someone. So they took out the mother specifically having to promise the daughter, it looks like, for a lot of these tales. And in some of the tales in different areas, instead of being the son of a witch, or he's the son of an ogre. So there's a lot of different versions of the same fairy tale, just a little bit different. Like, for instance, in Ibriani's La Presamolina, which is a little bit more popular. I think it's the more popular version of the Italian tale. Presamolina is captured not because she was eating it by herself, but because of her mother's craving for parsley. I thought it meant plum. God, this is why I hate English translations. Anyway, the point is, there are too many different versions of this story, and the reason I don't like Andrew Lang a little bit is because of the fact that he has a tendency to just pick one. He picks from all of them, makes it extremely simple as possible, and then you're just like, oh, I guess this is Well, okay, let's say this much. Let's say it's not just marry a man who can use magic. Marry a man who has a lot of power, who can help you out. You know? Nothing wrong with marrying a guy who can help you out with stuff so you don't have to work a day in your life ever again. It's the same wish fulfillment you see with, like, in 50 Shades of Grey and other romances where it's like, oh, and he's so hot and rich. Look at all this money he has, and he likes me, who is not hot and rich. Oh, wow, I'm just an ordinary girl in an ordinary world. Kill me. Please. Save me from myself. But wish fulfillment, you know? People love their wish fulfillment. I mean, as if there isn't wish fulfillment in male stories, or especially in video games. How often is it not just wish fulfillment? Do you think every guy who plays Doom is like a giant muscular muscle man who wants to be the type of person who wants to save the universe from demons? Except for Honkai Impact 3. I don't know. Honkai Impact 3 falls on a lot of the characters that they use for their gacha is definitely based off of a lot of tropes. They just hide their tropes a little bit better regarding certain things. There was a really cool video I talked about it, but they changed their thumbnail to be like extremely aggressive sounding, which, you know, to be fair, clickbait sells on YouTube. And the problem is that I didn't like the thumbnail that they used because it made it sound like it was extremely radical. But I think it talked quite a bit about how, like, it was very actually mild in regards to its argument about how the women stereotypes in both Genshin and Honkai Impact that are generally used. And they talked about the type of tropes, like the big sister trope, the mom trope, the overworked waifu trope, and all this other stuff, and how a lot of these characters kind of fit one of those themes, generally speaking. Like, for instance, in Honkai Impact, in Star Rail, Bronya, it would be a really good example of the overworked waifu. Plus, not only is she the overworked waifu, but she also is the rebellious daughter trope, of which she's like, no, Mom, I don't believe the same thing you do. I want to change the world. kind of thing. So, you know, it comes and goes as it wants. All right, guys, I have a lesson in 2 hours that I have to go do for teaching someone how to use Canva, even though I wouldn't say that I'm the best at Canva, but at least I try. So I will see you guys next time when I need to do this. I might try to do this as a weekly thing. Right now, though, I'm struggling to at least do 1 stream a week. So until I can get that like more in beat and solidified and finally convince people to not give me work on Wednesdays, I will be able to do that more often. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Thank you everyone for coming by. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed our fairy tale reading. Make sure to follow me on my Twitter, which is jkingwrites, which is WRITES, or you can follow me, or you can press the subscribe button, and when this video is done, I would really like it if you press the like button if you really enjoyed this stream. This will also be on Twitch, and if you liked a particular bit from the before and after of the story when we were reading the fairy tale, feel free to clip it on, I know YouTube has a clipping feature, which I don't really know how that works, but feel free to clip it, which is much easier on Twitch, with my username being JKingPlays. I hope you both enjoyed, I hope both of my channels enjoyed this content, and I will see you guys around soon next time. So, goodbye everybody! Bye-bye!